10 million soldiers to the war have gone, who may never return again. 10 million mothers' hearts must break for the ones who died in vain. Heads bowed down in
You're not allowed to do fireworks. You can use binoculars. You're not allowed to talk about the war in public.
You wouldn't be allowed to whistle.
If you see a carrier pigeon, you can't keep it. You have to give it back.
The army could take over your playground and use it as a base.
And you're not allowed to feed ducks.
Children weren't allowed to play with conkers.
Excuse me, young lady, what do you think you're doing?
That's a lot of responsibilities, a lot of rules to remember.
There'd be no war today if mothers all would say, I didn't raise my boy to be a soldier.
London Play have been doing the DORA project with thanks to Heritage Lottery Fund. And the DORA project is all about the home front during World War I. So with 150 school children from across London, we've been undertaking research about the World War I home front and trying to find out information that people might not know. DORA stands for the Defence of the Realm Act. The intention of these laws was to protect the realm, to protect Britain from Germany and from the other enemies, but it also had a profound effect on people's civil liberties and their freedoms, including children's freedoms, which is what we're looking at in this project. So we went to the British Library and children discovered what it means to be a researcher, the different types of research you can collect.
So if people had a cellar or a basement in their house, they might.
We also took a trip to Goldsmiths University and the children interviewed Professor Richard Grayson, who's a professor of 20th century history.
Why were women not allowed to fight in the war?
A century ago, Britain was a very unequal country.
He gave us lots of information we might not otherwise have found out about World War I. We've also been looking at propaganda, how propaganda works and worked 100 years ago and how that's changed now. So children have been making their own posters about propaganda, getting people to sign up to the war, but also considering the propaganda that was given to children at the time to try and make them work and do their bit for the war and self-sacrifice, be obedient and do as they're told rather than be children and have fun and play. We were lucky enough to borrow some audio from the British Library, so we got to hear first-hand accounts of older people talking about their childhoods during World War I. Children decided to bring those to life through drama. So they're creating performances based on the real lives of people who were children during World War I.
In the workshop, we have been reenacting scenes from World War I and how children and adults as well had to live with the war.
My part in the play is a child that goes to school and his name is Oliver and the school is going to get bombed. At first, we were writing and talking to my friend about because we could hear something and then the teacher's telling us to stop, but then she hears it as well and we have to go under our chairs and tables to hide from the bomb.
Say if there was an air raid going on and you're in school, they would lock the gates and you would have to stay in school. The parents didn't like that because they wanted to stay with their child, and there was like a sort of little debate about that. I'm a conscription officer and we're just trying to sign up people for the army.
How old are you? I'm 17.
They had to go and tell children, well boys mainly, who are over a certain age, they have to go and fight.
Lord of Fish lies asking from you for king and country. Your children need you. The woman of Britain say God. Read all about it, read all about it. First shall come, Dr. Harry.
Me and Nima have been doing a newspaper role where we have to go around saying read all about it, and then afterwards we talk to each other and start commentating about the war, saying, oh, this is such a terrible shock.
My role in this part is I'm being interviewed by a journalist, and I have to pretend I'm a scout.
Luckily I was at ground floor, so I did most of the damage happened up. And
Journalists ask me like what jobs I do I ever sleep, what happened yesterday in the devastating war when a very explosive bomb dropped.
I know a scar and I got, it's not a big deal.
The scouts were near the coast, hiding under bushes and watching out for German planes. And if any German planes come, they would alert the Alliance and any closest person near.
Like boys would go to the scouts, or if they were over 18, they will help the army, and like they'll join it and then they'll go into war.
The Girl Guides had to go and collect chicken bones from the local town or wherever they lived for munitions.
Girl Guides used to sew some socks and some scarves just in case the soldiers were cold. I wouldn't like to be a Girl Guide because you wouldn't work every day and you wouldn't spend time with your family.
Say people as young as my age, 10, 11, 12, they would go into factories to work, and it was very life risking. I would feel a tiny bit mature because working would be for an adult, but at the same time you're thinking, well, I haven't got any qualifications, I haven't gone through the whole school. I would just feel like what's going to happen to my life? I mean, are you going to work there forever?
One of the DORA rules were that you wouldn't be allowed to whistle, since when bombs drop from German planes, it would make a huge explosion, and they always make a whistle, so if you whistle, people would be scared for their lives, thinking it would be a devastating bomb.
Did you hear that as well? What was it? I think it's a bomb. Should we hide it?
You're not allowed to talk about the war in public because people might be spies.
We aren't allowed to talk really anything about the war in case you gave away.
Soldiers weren't allowed to send letters back home that were saying things about the war.
Say you wanted to send a postcard like, I'm doing fine, is the war still going on? They'll sort of blank that bit out, and they would sort of like other bits out if it's associated to the Germans, associated to the war, giving out secrets.
Don't you know you can't play with these polymers?
Why?
Because we need to wear military gloves, bullets and explosives.
Children weren't allowed to play with conkers. The government thought that there was a chemical inside there, and they needed the conkers to check the chemical, but in the end the chemical never worked, it was useless.
The army could take over your playground and use it as a base. I don't think it would have been fair because otherwise children wouldn't have enough room to play, and the army had enough room anyway.
People must be like shocked because people like felt like their freedom was getting taken away from them.
I don't think we can play wherever we wanted to play, and there's not really any rules that we can't play in the games.
Should we go back to 2016? Do your bit for king and country. On the double.